This is James Holder for IFL TV in association with Matt
On your camera?
With me, I've got Manchester-based Lee Beard. What's happening, Lee?
Yeah, all good, James. How are you?
I'm very well. What can you tell me about Vijender Singh?
I've worked with him all last week. Watched a lot of his fights as an amateur, Olympics in London, etc. And he can fight. He's got great power, both hands. He's a good thinking fighter. He's open to trying new things. Physical aspects of things, very strong. Mental, he's 29 years old, so he brings a lot of experience as well. Majored at a lot of, or most of the, competitions internationally. So I've got a fighter there that's got tremendous amounts of experience, turning professional, big following behind him. So there's obviously a lot of pressure coming with that. They're going to expect a lot from Vijender, but I can see just by the week like how hungry he is to do well. When he wants to represent his country as a professional. He didn't try and cut corners or anything that he did last week. Like Francis said earlier on, he wasn't getting frustrated with any of the technical stuff last week. He was open to trying new things, and you can see his dedication and hunger, to do well in this professional game.
In the amateurs, his weight pretty much transcends to about super middle round there. Yeah. What will he be competing at in the paid rank?
That's what I was saying before. Once he starts in camp, he'll get a few weeks underway, and then just see where he's walking around at a healthy weight, and just analyse what would be the best weight for him. Maybe have a couple of fights kind of between the two weights, and then take it from there. He's a big lad. You can see he's just under 6'1", so just middleweight, super middleweight. I think he'll be fine at any of them. He's got the power and strength. And he's got the height and range to cope at both weights. Badu Jack's obviously campaigning at super middleweight, and Vijender beat him as an amateur. So either weight really, but I think for his debut we'll probably have a fight somewhere between
middle and super middle.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got fantastic amateur pedigree, as we spoke about in the press conference today. Winning medals at a lot of major tournaments. Beat Badu Jack, interestingly enough, who's now world champion in the amateurs in the first round of the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, how good is that as a trainer to have someone with that pedigree to work with?
Well, obviously, he's capable of beating the guys that are doing well now in the professional game already, or guys like, as you said, Badu Jack's already a world champion now. So you see, he's been in there, he's matched himself with good fighters. He's had some losses along the way, but he's beaten some good fighters as well. Who, like you just said, a world champion. So, as long as he can develop right as a pro, he learns to shorten up his work, fight on the inside a little bit more. Like I say, you can see what kind of level that you can reach. He obviously he can reach a world champion material, world championship level, and he's not majored at all the major tournaments. He's not medalled at all the major competitions, without being able to fight. So I'm very excited about him.
Did you know how big of a personality he was in India before you started working with him? Was you obviously aware of his profile?
I did. I knew about Vijender before. Jamie Cox, he boxed in the Commonwealth Games with Jamie Cox as well, and it was ironic really because Jamie had always mentioned him, and then I get a phone call about him coming over on trial, just having a few days, see how things gel, and materialise from there, see if he fits with me. I like the way he is, etc. So it's kind of ironic because Jamie had mentioned him as an amateur, and then Jamie had met him in the gym. They come up, you've got John Costello and Haroon Headley, as a part of the training. We're all obviously training the lads between each other, and he fitted straight in, and he met Jamie, and Jamie had followed his career as an amateur as well, so that was quite ironic really that Jamie had kind of that history of watching him develop as an amateur.
Fantastic amateurs that have turned professional, like Zhu Shimin, the likes of Lomachenko.
Yeah.
They've gone straight in at a pretty decent level. Maybe Zhu Shimin had a couple of fights that questionable, but he's gone in at a good level. What level can we expect seeing
again?
Just going at?
Get his camp started. Once he comes up after the Buglioni Chudinov fight, and then we'll just take it from there. We can tell in the gym what level he's going to spar. Some good fighters, and then we'll just take it from there. At the moment, there's not really a name of who he'll fight for his debut or how many rounds he'll fight for his debut. What I'd like to do is just get him in the gym in camp, a couple of weeks in, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, I don't think there's no need to rush him. You look at Olympic gold medalists who are still kind of learning their trade 10 fights in and stuff. So
he's 29 years old, but he's 29, but he's got bags of experience. Like I say, he's medalled at all the competitions, around the world internationally. but he's a young 29. You know, he's not like an old 29. He's a young 29. He's very healthy. If you look at his physique, he's already in shape, walking around. The test that I did with him last week, he's in great shape, you know, physically and mentally. So, you know, he's a very, very healthy 29. He's not someone that's going to have to come into camp and start getting into shape. He's got a natural level of fitness, which is good. So that's good for me because it enables me to work a lot on the technical side of things, which is obviously something that you'll need in the professional game, you know, to change and maybe make a few adjustments, you know, along the way.
I mean, you've done fantastically well with Jack Catterall, who is still continuing to develop into a great fighter. Your boy Adrian Gonzalez as well, great fighter. This fight here, he could be again someone that could take you in a complete direction as a trainer and really kind of get you that notice on the world scene.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been on the world scene, I know, with some fighters, with Mendes, Guzman, Ricky, so I've been on the world scene with some international fighters.
I didn't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean it's a different direction and different kind of profile.
No, it's like obviously Jack and that was a development from an 18-year-old. It's a different level, you know. Jack didn't have Vijender's amateur pedigree, so what I've got with Vijender, I've got a guy, you know, a man, 29-year-old man who's medalled at all the major tournaments, 3 Olympics he's been involved in, and you know he knows how to fight. You know, he's got that mental strength. You know, as an 18-year-old, Jack was a baby turning professional, so it's a different way of bringing him through. But I'm very confident. You know, I've got there's myself, Haroon Headley, John Costello, and you know, we all work together with the lads, and you know, Vijender fitted straight in last week. You know, he's got some great lads there: Jamie Cox, Joe Costello, Jack Catterall, Adrian Gonzalez, you know, Raza Hamza. There's a bunch of lads there, a bunch of training team coaches there, and we all work together. And Vijender fitted straight in, so he's in good hands. You know, he's going to have some tremendous sparring. He's going to do a lot of one-on-one technical stuff with me, and I am very excited about him. You know, he's got tremendous power in both hands. I was so surprised how heavy-handed he was when I first held the pads for him. He was very, very heavy-handed.
Deceiving, yeah.
Very, very heavy-handed. And one of the things I noticed in some of his fights was, like I said earlier, he didn't. I said to him when we spoke, I felt he could have used his jab a little bit more. Yeah. He looked for his backhand, a lot of step back right hands. But then when I held the pads and I felt how hard he hit with that step back right hand.
Listen, I did the ball with him, and when the right hands penetrated, I had to have a little think to myself, and then thought, okay, I can see his power.
The right hand, like, you can understand why he throws it so much. But then he was using his jab, and then the jab was like, you know, the jab was the same. It was like a ramrod, you know, just the power of the jab. So it wasn't like he had nothing off the jab to be effective with. You know, if I can get him to use his jab to, you know, be a bit more versatile with the jab, I mean, he can control a lot of fights behind that jab, because it's like a weapon. It's not just a jab to feel out his distance or, you know, get range or anything like that. He's got a jab that really will hurt, you know, and bust people up, and you know, drop the right hand at the back of that, you know, and you've got a dangerous fighter.
All right, well, listen.
We took out the sparring. The sparring, you know, we won't go too deep in sparring, because what happens in sparring stays in sparring. But we actually seen the other side of him as well, as a fighter's heart. He wants to be in there, you know. But that's another story. You could probably ask him about.
He was saying he wants to do more. He wants to be pushed, doesn't he?
I was very. When you got a 29-year-old, and he's got that level of amateur pedigree like he's got. You know how they would look at look at you as a trainer. Would they know everything? Would they be open to making adjustments and trying new things? You know, or do they know everything, and what they do is what works, and that's that. You know, so do you have that clash? Because for me as a trainer, like I don't have that. You know what I mean? They've got to be open to trying new things, and you know, and if there's a physical side of the training, you know, I don't allow them to cut any corners. They do what everybody does. You know, they work hard and dedicate themselves, but he's naturally got that hunger and dedication. So, but yeah, I mean, considering like the following he's got, you know, the sort of status he's got back home in India, and the level of experience as an amateur, you know, he's very open to new things and trying new things. And like Francis said before, he doesn't get frustrated. Like if he can't get something right, he's just keep on going and trying. Like he's, you know, I think it's just going to be something that in the next few months will be developing well, and I don't think it'll take too long. I think once he comes to me in July, I think within 2-3 months, I think we'll be off and running, get his first fight out of the way, and then we'll carry on from there, straight back into camp.
All right, lads. Well, look, I look forward to following his journey as much as anyone. So it's really interesting, really exciting, and I look forward to seeing how you develop him as well. So,
All right, mate.
thank you for giving us your time, and have a safe journey back to Manchester.
All right, cheers, James. Cheers, mate.
Don't
Bye-bye.
miss your train.